first official Within the Wilds podcast. So if you don't know who I am, I have the Chasing the Wilds YouTube channel. And I figured I'd start a podcast. And we're just going to talk. We're going to see where things go. See where the conversation leads us. We'll talk about outdoor stuff, but, I have a bunch of interests. And if anything, this will help me get a little more comfortable on camera. And so, like I said, this is the first official Within the Wilds, I think that's what we're going to call it, Within the Wilds podcast, live from the shed. So, this is my gear shed. This is where I keep everything, and everybody, the entire world knows that everything good starts in a shed. So, if you got something cold, crack that thing open. Let's have a conversation. There's a bunch of junk in here, I know. Anyway, so I've got quite a few videos posted on YouTube now. All outdoor, camping, backpacking type stuff. At this stage in my life, I didn't get to where I am just overnight. And I'm not talking about, success-wise and all that kind of deal. But, I feel like everybody that has this type of hobby or does this type of thing, you kind of have some segue in it. Maybe you know somebody that takes you out for your first time. And for me, that was very much the case. I can remember, what I remember of my very first camping trip, and not the very first, but just the one I remember. I ain't no spring chicken no more, you know what I mean? So, but what I remember is I went camping with my dad, one of his buddies, and his son. So there's 4 of us, and we went to a spot that I still go to this day, and I hadn't been there on the channel yet, but we'll get there. But you camp down next to the river. It's a beautiful spot, but there's a dam upstream, and they don't always open the dam, but sometimes they do. And so, as luck would have it, we camp out there. Gorgeous spot. We have a good time. Got our tent set down pretty close to the water, and I didn't go to sleep in the river, but I woke up in the river. So at some point through the night, they had opened the dam gates, and river started to swell. And when we woke up, we were wet. Now, we weren't like floating down the river, but water had come up enough to where we were wet. And that's what I remember. That is probably the first camping trip that that I have memory of. And I was probably 8, 9 years old. And I'm sure my dad remembers that. I'd love to get him on the channel. To have him go out and camp with me, but I know it's probably never going to happen. He's more of a introvert than I am, and I'd love to see if he remembers that. What does he, does he recall that situation at all? Because it's something that I remember. But yeah, and then from there, still went camping as a kid. And then my teenage years, I did some land clearing for people. Um, worked for some guys, run heavy equipment, clearing land, bulldozers, excavators, that kind of thing. And so we would clear land, and we'd push up all the trees and all that kind of stuff in the big long windrows. And we'd set these windrows on fire where they would be so big that depending on the weather, what kind of wind we had, that kind of deal, you wouldn't want to leave them alone. And so we would camp out there. When I say camp out there, we'd usually park our trucks somewhere flat. Usually round up all the stray hoodies you got in your truck, put those down on the ground, and you would literally sleep underneath your truck. And that's how we would camp. And you'd wake up every so often, push up the pile, whatever. But I don't necessarily think you would call that cowboy camping, because I mean we're physically underneath something. But I did that more times than I can count. And call it young and stupid, I don't know, but it was fun. And it's something that the memory has stuck with me for a long time. I think it's funny what you remember and what you over time kind of lose in your mind. Could be a good thing or a bad thing, I don't know. But then I got into backpacking and camping, and if you're watching this, you've probably seen my Lexus GX on the channel. And it's the first SUV I've ever owned in my life. I've been a truck guy for a long time. Big trucks. I've had a bunch of Toyota trucks through the years. Big diesel trucks, that kind of deal. And I had a good buddy of mine who had his GX for sale, and I bought it. And when I bought it, it didn't look anything like what it does now. Depending on who you talk to, I've kind of ruined it. And sometimes I think I have. But, it's a hobby that I've grown to love. It's one that has tested me in more ways than you think. And anybody that does this kind of thing a lot will tell you that when you are alone in the woods, be it daytime, nighttime, whatever, you kind of got to be okay with yourself. And what I mean by that is your mind can go to some dark places when you are alone in the quiet with nothing else but your thoughts. And I've been there myself. It takes a lot of resolve as an individual to get yourself back up out of that state of mind. I mean, easiest thing to do is just not go there. But it's hard. Everybody's human. I mean, everybody has fears. Everybody has doubts. And when you don't have anything there to distract you or anybody else to kind of like talk you down off that ledge, it is a slippery slope into, the dark depths of your mind. But anyways, we ain't gonna get into that. Not not on the first episode, right? And so a lot of the gear you see behind me, and this is my gear shed. I mean, this is just a spot where I can light, and I literally have like Milwaukee work lights that is, That's what I'm lighting this space with right now. I don't have a studio. I don't even have an office. I mean, this is about as like normal guy as you can get right here. Um, and you know, I didn't amass all this junk overnight. Matter of fact, the first tent I ever bought as an adult is right here. It's just a regular old Coleman 4-person dome tent. And it's still a good one. It ain't never let me down. I ain't never woke up wet. So, but you hear me talk a lot on the channel about taking care of your gear, storing it the right way, making sure it's in the, I guess, the best state that it can be before you put it away. Yeah, a lot of this stuff will last for a very long time if it's taken care of. And I mean, this North Face tent right here, it's a prime example. I mean, that thing's over 30 years old. I haven't had it that entire time. I picked it up a couple of months ago. Matter of fact, I got a video on the channel. Set it up for the first time, but the lady I bought it from, she bought it new in 93. Somewhere around there, 92, 93. So I was born in 89. I was 4 years old when she bought that tent. And now I have it, and I haven't got a chance to use it yet. But, you know, it's still in great shape. And I hate seeing good gear get thrown away or just get abused, or you know. And I'm not a gear nerd. Depending on who you ask. But I mean, like, I do enjoy using good quality stuff. Who doesn't, right? You know, you don't set out to climb Mount Everest in a pair of flip-flops and a, you know, framing hammer. You know what I mean? And so, yeah, everybody wants to use good gear, and I can't blame anybody for wanting the best that they can afford. You'll never hear me fault anybody for that in anything. I have a bunch of hobbies outside of camping and backpacking. I play music. I mean, you tell me right now somebody didn't slap a Taylor 914 CE, you know, guitar in my lap, I'm gonna turn it away and say, "Nah, I don't want this." Are you kidding me? You know, I build things. I've framed houses before. I've done a whole bunch of stuff. I enjoy good quality tools. Milwaukee just happens to be my favorite. I can't fault anybody for wanting good quality stuff. However, if you're going to spend the money, just take care of it. Yeah, just take care of it. Although you do get into, you know, the law of diminishing returns. Meaning that, like, X amount of money, depending on how it increases, yes, usually the product quality increases as well, until you reach a point where you're just paying a whole bunch of extra money for, you know, a name or the Instagram clout. I don't know. I shouldn't say that. I don't have Instagram. But that's like me. I don't own anything Dyneema. One, I can't afford it. That shit's too expensive. Two, I hate the way it sounds. It's like you're rolling around in a freaking Walmart bag. But, like, yes, it's light. I get that. But is the juice worth the squeeze? Is that high dollar fancy fabric worth the $700, $800, $900 price tag? I mean, if you're watching these, I assume you have some type of interest, or some type of knowledge, or some type of background in camping, backpacking, that kind of stuff. Surely you've heard of Z-Packs. Just about everything they make is made out of Dyneema. And I don't know if they have one single thing on their website less than like $600. Aside from backpacks and dry bags and stuff like that. But if you're watching this, use their stuff. Fantastic. I'm happy for you. I'm just not spending that amount of money. I think it's stupid. I guess my back is stronger than my wallet. I'll spend less money, carry something a little more heavier than, shelling out a mortgage payment for a tent. I ain't doing it. Ugh. But, in this little conversation, this is kind of I guess a taste of what's to come. I'm a pretty strong, opinionated person, fairly intelligent, depending on who you ask. And I get my talkative mood sometimes, and I don't know how long these videos will last. I don't have a script. I'm going to try my best not to edit these at all. It's just a point and shoot, one take, just me and you having a conversation. You know what I mean? So I hope it turns into something that maybe has a following. Maybe garners a little interest. I don't know. I get most of the time, a couple new channel subscribers every week, and that blows my mind. And I don't have very many at all. But just the fact that somebody's interested enough to I'd like to be updated every time this dude posts a new video. It just blows my mind. It's a very humbling, very humbling thing. So, but yeah, I think this is cool. I love watching podcasts on YouTube. Probably the same ones you watch. All the big names. But right before I came out here, I was watching a thing about Group B Rally. And if you're unfamiliar with Group B Rally, so back in the 80s, they had Group A, which was pretty much just limited to production cars. They had to make at least, or a manufacturer had to make at least 500 cars to qualify for Group A. And all the race teams were like, oh, this is holding us back. We're not going to put money into the programs if we've got to make 500 cars. So the FIA said, all right, fine. So we'll do Group B. You only have to make 10 production models or something like that. And manufacturers like Lancia, Audi, Peugeot. Let me say this. I'm a red-blooded American through and through. I got an American flag hanging off my front porch. I got one hanging in my man cave. I like American muscle just as much as the next guy. But if you've never heard about an 85 or an 86 Audi Quattro S1 at 7,000 RPM at full chat, Stop what you're doing. Stop this video right now. Get on the interwebs. Get on YouTube. Watch it. Turn the volume all the way up. Audi at the time, their S1 Audi Quattro, inline 5-cylinder, turbocharged, just short of like 500 horsepower. In my opinion, one of the sweetest sounds in the entire world. Now, I told you I had a bunch of hobbies. I'm not necessarily a rally fan. And props to the Ken Blocks and the, God rest his soul, pour something out for the homies. The Travis Pastrana's, that kind of deal. But man, Group B rally back in the day, watch some of those old videos. The crowds, for one thing, literally standing in the middle of the road. On the downhill side of Blind Hills. I mean, it's just nuts. It's absolutely crazy. But man, the sound. I love it. Get you a big, surround sound speaker system. Turn that stuff up to 11. Good stuff. And in that same era, Lancia had the Stratus. If you've never seen a Lancia Stratus, let me rephrase that. If you think a Lamborghini Countach looks cool, if you're my age, I'm 36, you probably had there's a good chance you probably had a Lamborghini Countach poster on your bedroom wall. I didn't, but there's a good chance that you might have. If you think that car is one of the coolest things you've ever seen, look up the Lancia Stratus. Them boys were doing something right back in the 80s. And then Lancia followed that up with the 037, which, I mean, I don't think it looks better than the Stratus, but it's up there. It's real up there. But what a time to be alive. And I'm an 80s baby. Barely. But I'm an 80s baby. And don't let the car talk deter you. I mean, if it does, it does. Whatever. But I'm gonna talk about all kinds of things. If I can get some of my buddies on here, we'll all have a conversation. I mean, I kind of don't want to have any limits. I just want it to be what it's gonna be. I want it to be natural. And just have a good time. Like I've said in some other videos, I'm having way more fun doing this than I ever thought I would. And I just want this to be an extension of that. So, I'll probably talk about some gear. Probably pull some stuff out of here every once in a while. Talk about it. But, it's just a more laid back, and to be honest, it's an easier style of video for me to make. I can come out here in an afternoon or at night, set the tripod up and make a video just talking about all the things that I would normally talk about in my day-to-day life without having to pack my bag or pack the car, carve out a time to get out there amongst, all my other responsibilities. And so I'm using it as an avenue to, you know, grow the channel and create content that hopefully somebody likes, you know, watching. Somebody enjoys it. But, excuse me. It's a little cold out here. About 50 degrees. It was blowing an absolute gale out there when I walked in. I wanted to have the doors open, but it's just too daggone noisy. Too much wind noise. But we are up on top of the hill. If you've watched any of my tent review videos, that kind of stuff, kind of look back in the backdrop. I'm just in the middle of the field. We got winter wheat planted right now, and this sure is pretty. I'm an old farm boy at heart. You know, born and raised in the dirt. So I doubt you'll ever get me out of it either. That is good. But yeah, I think I'm going to call my podcast Within the Wilds. Kind of keeping along the theme of the YouTube channel. And I think it's got a nice little ring to it. So anyways, that's kind of the intro to the podcast. I'm going to label this as episode 1. And maybe I'll get a little more structure. Maybe I'll take some notes. Maybe some talking points. I have my iPad out here. We'll just kind of talk about things. Maybe do this once a week. Maybe post it on Tuesdays. My regular videos come out on Friday. Every Friday. So maybe on Tuesday? What's today? Monday? Yeah. I probably can put this one out there tomorrow. But anyways, I know this is short. I honestly don't know how long it is. I film with my phone. And I can't even see the screen right now. So I don't know how long I've been recording for. But I hope you enjoyed it. I hope, you know, maybe gives you a little insight on, you know, who I am and why I do what I do. And you know, just a regular guy. Just out here trying to make it work. So, anyways, I'm going to wrap it up right here. I appreciate y'all hanging out. And we'll see you next time.